Okay, welcome back. I don't know if I'm gonna keep that in, but I just beat the guy, so. The conch. Not sure what you're supposed to do next. I was reading some tweets and I talked about a couple episodes ago stuff that I got anxious about when I was in school. And I forgot about presentations. I don't know how I forgot about that. That's the most stressful thing. I can remember like weeks up to a presentation I had to do. I remember having this thought that was like, anytime I saw somebody, I would be like, they don't know how lucky they are because they don't have to do a presentation. This guy keeps calling me. Stop it. Solicitor. They don't know how lucky they are because they're like blissfully ignorant of their situation. They don't realize how lucky they are. They don't have to do a presentation, and I do. And I remember having that thought as a kid. And there was always the kid who would say like, "Well, I'm going to volunteer first to get it out of the way." And I don't know. I wonder how you get that. So I would think I must have been more nervous than the other kids. I know everybody gets nervous when they have to do a presentation, but it's hard. I don't know. I must. That kid who would say, "I want to do it first to get it out of the way." Obviously, he's saying, "This is stressful, so I want to get it out of the way." But it's not stressful enough where, I don't know. I feel like if you have social anxiety, maybe you think you'll get lucky and like maybe you'll be dead, so you won't have to do it. Like if we could just put it off till tomorrow, maybe you'll die and you won't have to do this presentation because you'd rather be dead. What the heck is this? That was it. I remember basically building my entire college schedule around classes that I could figure out wouldn't have to do presentations in. So I only ever had to give one presentation. Pretty much, I think. I mean, getting called on in class is kind of like a mini presentation. And I got called on a bunch of times, but the presentation's always worse. I got distracted because I was remembering the feeling of having to give a presentation like in the next week or whatever. It's so terrible, but that feeling that you get when you finish is like I don't know, I would consider it like some of my happiest memories are having to do a presentation and then leaving the class having done it. And I didn't do a good job, obviously, but it was over, and it was such a relief that it was like probably the happiest I've ever been. Why am I doing this? Oh. How do you drop it? Oh. That was a nice little jingle. Where do you buy the shovel? I was talking about, so I had figured out how to design my schedule around. That was my top priority, is to figure out, because you can always drop a class like within the first week. So my top priority was to kind of look through the syllabus and to see how big the class was, and to see, okay, is this going to be a class where I have to do a presentation or where I'll get called on a lot? And if it was, I would change it. I had to change a class like pretty much every semester. I would change a class for that reason. Maybe not every semester, like once a year. So what happened with this one class was, I went to this one class and I kind of put it off. I don't really remember why, but I had already changed classes once and I couldn't do it again for some reason. Basically the entire class was designed around this presentation you had to give at the end of the semester, which was like a business proposal about some idea you had to give. And the class was really small. It was like 15 kids. It was called like business, I don't even remember, business writing or something. So that was my least favorite class I've ever had. Like, I had to go every week. I couldn't really not go, because then the class was so small that the teacher would know I wasn't there, and then she would give me a bad grade, then I would fail and have to take it again probably. So I had to go, and it was so hard. And then I had to do the presentation. How do I do that? But yeah, I just remember that feeling of leaving that class after it was like, we worked all year on this business proposal thing, and so the presentation was like, I remember it being like 20 minutes long, maybe it wasn't that long, but I was just dreading it, and it was so awful, and I did it, and it was bad, and I got a C in that class probably, because most of the grade was based off the presentation, which I probably did a terrible job at, but I did it and it's over. So thank God for that. And there were a lot of classes like that where I don't know, the teacher, you could tell the teacher was like, he really liked the students to talk a lot, and he was going to call on It's interesting to think about that like I put so much on it. Okay, is this teacher gonna be one of those teachers who likes participation? And the good thing about Rutgers is like it's such a big school that every class basically had at least 3 teachers teaching the same class. So even if you couldn't get out of the class, you could get a different teacher. I need them Pegasus boots. Okay, I should find where I have to go before I quit for the day. I just went in a big circle. I kind of wanted to talk. I watched a movie. How's it pronounced? Midsommar? I don't know. I guess I don't really watch as many movies as I thought I did, but so whenever I watch one, I kind of write some notes about what I liked or didn't like. I liked the movie. It was weird to it's kind of billed as a horror movie, but it's not really. So I guess I was a little disappointed in that I didn't get what I thought I was gonna get, which was like so the guy, the writer-director okay, did a movie called Hereditary, which I watched, and that's like a true horror movie that's like scary and stuff. But I'm just gonna say Midsommar because I don't want to say Midsommar. There's nothing in here. So yeah, I guess I had this feeling like I didn't like it, but it was really just that I wasn't getting what I expected. How do I get rid of this thing? So the more I thought about the movie, I guess the more I liked it. And I guess I kind of do want to watch it again. The one scene I remember really liking, and I think I cry a lot at movies, but it made me, I don't know if I really cried, made me kind of emotional to see. There's a scene at the end of the movie where the main girl is I forget why she starts crying, but she's like she starts crying and she leaves. She goes to this house with a bunch of other people who are in the festival, and she starts sobbing. And I guess it's supposed to mirror a scene in the beginning of the movie where she's also sobbing, and her boyfriend's just kind of like hugging her and comforting her. And I read somewhere that it's the entire movie is the director's version of a breakup movie, which I kind of liked that idea. Because the two main characters are kind of terrible for each other, and you see that throughout the movie. But it's in this kind of horror setting, which makes it kind of unique and different and interesting. So the beginning, I'm gonna have to stop and figure out where to go. But I just want to explain this real quick, and then I'll pause it and find out where to go. Just this one scene. So the first scene, she's sobbing, and her boyfriend's comforting her. Throughout the entire movie, though, you can tell she's not better from what happened. She's not happy, and she's sad, and she's still trying to get over this trauma that she's had. And so something terrible happens to her at the end of the movie too, and she starts sobbing, and she runs away, and all the people from the festival, they do this thing that they've been doing throughout the movie, which is like when somebody does something, they mirror it. They all mirror it. It's hard to explain, but somebody will do something, and there's a lot to unpack there. And I haven't really, of the whole mirroring thing, but they set it up as just like, okay, this is something that they do. They mirror emotions of other people, and they mirror actions and stuff. And so there's this scene where she starts sobbing and runs away, and then there's a bunch of girls that follow her, and they start mirroring her sobbing, and they start sobbing back at her, and you can tell it feels real to her, like real empathy, which is something I guess she was wanting and she never felt. And it's so cool to have like the bad guys be the ones who are the bad guys. I mean, there's not too many typical horror stuff in the. I mean, they eventually. I don't know, spoilers. I guess it's kind of a recent movie, but nobody's watching anyway. So, okay. Now, how do I get out of here? Just let me think. I can't think. I guess it kind of caught me off guard. Wasn't expecting to feel anything during this horror movie, but I really did. Okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to. Okay, I have to stop there. Okay, yeah, that didn't feel like a great episode. I kind of want to talk more about that movie too. I liked it. Okay. Still not great at this. I've been feeling like I don't know if I mentioned this before, but it feels like it takes me longer to get good at stuff than normal people, like years, not like months. So it's gonna be years before I get good at this. It's been 6 months. this whole talking thing. I'm not. I'm still not where I want to be. But I posted the 2 videos on Twitter, and I noticed like there's progress there. 6 months, there's some progress. But yeah, I have to figure out what to do. Okay. See you tomorrow.